We promised that we would to keep an eye on the Hong Kong situation for you, and indeed over the weekend things got rather heated. Protesters blocking commuters at a train station, started fires on the streets. Yes, there were huge gatherings. The question is, what did the authorities do about it after being called intolerant by the Washington Post, as we reported on Friday? Were they? Joining us now live from Hong Kong, News with Rick Sanchez, special correspondent Michele Greenstein. Michele, what do you got?
Rick, another weekend of violence and crackdown as tensions between the local Hong Kong government here and anti-government demonstrators, most of whom are middle-class, college-educated youth, continue to escalate.
These days in Hong Kong, what starts as a peaceful rally often turns violent. Citing this violence, the Hong Kong police banned a march that had been planned for Saturday. They warned that anyone in attendance would be liable for arrest.
Refrain from all unlawful and violent acts.
But that didn't stop thousands of Hong Kongers who came out to march anyway.
Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong, liberate Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is not China. These are all chants that I've been hearing this afternoon. It's Saturday, and protesters have been out in full force for the better part of the day.
Even though those marching were breaking the law, Hong Kong police wouldn't make the first arrest until much later. As Saturday evening sets in, protesters surround government headquarters. Police hold up a warning that reads, "Disperse or we fire." Some try sending flares and petrol bombs over the barricades as police stand on the roof with rifles. At 6 p.m., someone sets one of the barriers on fire. Eventually, the pepper spray comes out. Then, the tear gas. And finally, a water cannon. Sometimes it's laced with blue dye, a way for the police to identify suspects later. As the sun sets, hundreds of riot police move in to break the siege. Demonstrators warn each other and retreat.
Here you can see some of the bricks that protesters have been throwing at the police. We also saw some petrol bombs being thrown by these demonstrators as well. Now over here you can see that riot police have arrived to push back against the protesters that were approaching the Legislative Council. Now this caused all the demonstrators to start marching that way.
After retreating from government headquarters, protesters build a massive barricade and set it on fire using petrol bombs.
It's about 7:30 p.m. and a fire has broken out in the Wan Chai district. Now this is right in front of the headquarters of the Hong Kong police.
The fire department arrives to put out the fire. At this point, the protesters have advanced to the next flashpoint, Causeway Bay. The police are not far behind. At Causeway Bay, protesters prepare for the arrival of the riot police. On the front lines, they tie tripwire. They're armed with bricks and Molotov cocktails. When our cameraman tries to record these weapons, protesters shield them with umbrellas. I was able to get some of this footage with my phone. When tear gas is eventually thrown by the police, protesters throw the canisters back. The night culminates in 63 people being arrested for criminal damage, possession of offensive weapons and explosives, and illegal assembly, since the protest had been banned. On Sunday, protesters set up a barricade around the airport with luggage carts. They disable security cameras and damage property. They block access to the airport and force travelers to walk miles into the city. Their damage of the nearby metro station forces its closure. Monday night, remnants of the weekend's events hang in the air.
The demonstrators have blocked both the red and the yellow lights at this traffic stop to have the sign read "Free Hong Kong." Now it's Monday evening and the scene here in front of the government headquarters is actually pretty calm. We've had students, mostly young people. I gotta say, I have not seen a single person that looks over 25 in this crowd here tonight. Hong Kong police say a total of 159 people were arrested over the weekend. The situation remains fluid, and Beijing has reminded the international community of its authority to declare a state of emergency in Hong Kong if the unrest and disorder persists. Rick, Hong Kong's chief executive here, Miss Carrie Lam, had some audio of hers leaked in which she said that she would resign from being chief executive of the Hong Kong government if she could. But then today, she released a statement saying that she was disappointed that her statements had been leaked to the public and that she is not considering a resignation at this time. Additionally, if she is considering a resignation, it would not be at the behest of the central government in Beijing. It would be her own decision. Additionally, today, we also had had Beijing come out with a press conference in which they explained that Hong Kong, curbing the unrest in Hong Kong is Beijing's top priority, and they're calling on all branches of the Beijing government to step in. Rick?
Michele, Greenstein, as usual, with spot-on coverage. We would have expected nothing less. Thank you. So you haven't heard that we're the ones covering the stories that you won't see covered anywhere else? In Venezuela, Kazakhstan. Let's go to Hong Kong. And the media reaction to that has been crickets. How about the way we cover those stories? What the hell does that mean? Huawei, Huawei, Huawei. That's the key word in this case, uprising. Keep? Can you believe that? Watching. This is the right thing for members of the media to do, to actually pick sides. Look, if you like what you see, subscribe.